Volkswagen CEO Herbert Diess, as many of you already know, have been watching the channel for a while now. I'm a big fan of, for a number of reasons. That man has put his job on the line to try to save Volkswagen from extinction, and I can seriously respect that. Herbert Diess has said some very interesting things over the last couple of days about Tesla, about electric pickup trucks, and I believe about an inference about a partnership with Ford. Now, here is what I believe is going to happen, and here is what he has said. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans, and it's great to have you here on the channel. I hope you've had an awesome day. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back to everyone else. Volkswagen is clearly the best placed legacy auto manufacturer to survive the transition, the immense disruption happening right now, right in front of our face, but most people seem to be just ignoring it. One of the reasons for that is that when you watch grass grow, it appears to not be growing at all. But in fact, sometimes in summer, it's growing very fast. And right now, the world is in summer when it comes to electric cars displacing ICE-powered vehicles. Volkswagen clearly led in terms of electric vehicle production when it comes to legacy auto last year. However, that still means only 5% of all of their cars last year were electric. That's not a very big number. And if they're the best placed to succeed out of legacy auto, what does that say for the rest of legacy auto? Well, you can see what it says in my video about the Altman Z-score. If you haven't already seen it, you should. What did Herbert Diess say? Well, he said a few things that nearly got him fired over the past year. Clearly his partnership or respect for Elon Musk, inviting him to a meeting with Volkswagen managers, putting him on a bit of a pedestal and having a good relationship with him, endangered his job, and the union are afraid that electric cars are going to destroy Volkswagen's workforce, and so they wanted to get rid of him. And so they've basically stripped him of some of his powers. Is that a good thing? In my view, no. In general, Herbert Diess and Elon Musk agree on pretty much everything of significance, but there's one area that they clearly strongly disagree on. Herbert Diess believes that level 3 autonomy requires Lidar and cannot be done without it. Is this true? Is he right? To tell you the truth, I think out of the two, Herbert Diess and Elon Musk, one of them has more experience working on autonomy. I think you all know which of them that is. Now, in a wide-ranging AMA on Reddit recently, Volkswagen CEO Herbert Diess provided answers to a ton of questions from the Reddit community. The Electric reports that some of those questions were news. Importantly, he clarified Volkswagen's position on autonomy and ID4 charging update timelines while waxing eloquent on a low-price Volkswagen EV and everyone's favorite, the microbus. Now, personally, I do like the microbus, but I think it's ludicrously expensive. I think it's not one of the better thought out programs at Volkswagen, simply because I think that 99% of the world's population won't be able to afford it. But I do love it. That's it. I do love it. But it's sort of like the way I love the Tesla Model S Plaid. It's not a vehicle that I'm trying to promote to anyone because most people just can't buy it. On Lidar though, Diess took a different tact than Elon. Interesting the strategy that Diess has used here though, isn't it? Using Reddit. I mean, how many CEOs do this, right? It seems to me as though CEOs are now Jim Farley, starting to tweet, starting to follow Elon, starting to become almost like mini celebrities in their own right, starting to use those platforms, those social media tools to develop and market themselves and their brands, which is actually, I think, a good strategy. Now, if I was to ask you a question, how many 5-year-olds or how many 10-year-olds do you know who know the name Herbert Diess? You'd probably say not a lot. How many of them know the name Jim Farley? Not a lot. How many of them know the name Elon Musk? You can see the power of social media. You can see the power of marketing. On Lidar though, Diess he disagrees with Elon. He's adamant that robotaxis can be made from only vision systems, while Elon is adamant that only vision is the best way to do it. Tesla's CEO said he would be shocked if Tesla does not achieve full self-driving that is safer than a human being this year. Diess said that Lidar, or more specifically redundant perception, was integral to getting to level 3 autonomy. This is what he said. Lidar technology is still expensive, but today it's the only way to offer redundant perception to the 360 camera systems, which are a must. Safety is really crucial in autonomous driving. For level 3 driving, you need redundant perception. Later on, he clarified that level 3 autonomy requires redundant Lidar perception. Volkswagen has partnered with Mobileye for its Lidar systems, which have been dropping in price. That's important to point out. It is true that Elon was right when he said Lidar is expensive years ago. Now, yeah, it's not true anymore. So he wasn't wrong when he said that, but things have changed. Now, there are many different Chinese cars that come standard with Lidar. In fact, many cars in China that come standard with multiple Lidar. I'm not talking about prototype cars. I'm talking about cars you can walk into a dealership tomorrow and buy them. So it's become commonplace for Lidars to be installed because, yes, they're not actually all that expensive anymore. As for when autonomous driving was coming, Diess was less specific than Elon's this year plan. And to be fair, Elon has said this year a number of different years. I still love him. But yeah, I'm taking that with a grain of salt because no one really knows when it's going to happen. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because I would love to own a Cybertruck with full self-driving so I could drive it on a big road trip with my boys, go on a surf trip, whatever it is, and go to sleep and arrive the next day, be fresh and ready to go. He said, autonomous driving is the biggest game changer for the automotive industry. We will be able to drive our customers safe and comfortably. This will be a gradual process from taking over responsibility on open highways in good weather conditions, getting to more complex environments and weather situations worldwide. So this will be a long process of competition for a long period to come. We are building up competencies to become a serious competitor in this race. And I think this is really important to point out. If Tesla does pull this off, then their share price right now is cheap. If they don't, well, hopefully they pull off something else because, yeah, obviously their PE is at around 180. So you could say that in comparison to traditional legacy auto, it's expensive. But remember, Volkswagen is in a position where many of their current assets will have to be written off. They're already doing that now, but that's going to be a continual process they'll have to do over the next decade as they transition to EVs, where Tesla doesn't have to do that. So there is that advantage for them. On software in general, Volkswagen has been making huge investments, and in fact, they've been following Tesla in some ways. Previously, Volkswagen would outsource their software. Now they've brought it all in-house, and they've talked about on different occasions that's been a huge challenge for them. Diess said, we are building up capabilities to become self-sufficient in car software through organic growth, major acquisitions, partnerships to build up our own IP, and recruiting technology talents. Obviously, finding the best employees. Last year, we hired around 1,000 software engineers. To acquire IP, we started a partnership with Bosch. To advance our image recognition capabilities, we acquired the Hala Aglaya team. More to come on that. Currently, we're investing $2 billion, I don't know if it's US dollars or euros, for software per year. And Cariad, I don't know how you pronounce that, is already delivering the software updates over the air, preparing new launches and features together with our brands. Now, I've got to point out, Volkswagen, they did promise lots of over-the-air updates, not really happening. Volkswagen owners have complained about feeling like they're getting a bit shortchanged in that area. But I think that will change over the next year. I think Volkswagen are definitely improving. What I've been reading, been researching this area, I think that's going to change this year for Volkswagen. So be patient. On the simplification of multiple brands and vehicle platforms to become more like Tesla, Diess said, Volkswagen will remain a multi-brand mobility company working worldwide and being present in many segments. To reduce complexity, we are focusing on platforms even more in the future. One hardware platform SSP, unified battery cells, and one shared software stack with Cariad will ensure that we leverage our economies of scale fully. Being present in volume and premium markets and addressing many of our different customer preferences. But yes, in some segments, we are still too complex in our product offering. And I've been saying this, I feel nice. I feel like a burden has been taken off my shoulders that the Volkswagen CEO is agreeing with what I've been telling you all. Over the last, 6 months, I've probably said this 50 different times. 75 EVs from one company is totally unnecessary. It's a massive cost. Yes, sure, they can share the platform, but you still got to make all the different bodies. You still got to have the different production lines. It's just, it's ridiculous. I don't know why that would be even remotely necessary to have 75 different cars from the one group. But anyway, he said, yes, in some segments, we are still too complex in our product offering. He's saying there's too many different options. Like walking into a shop, a bicycle, and there's 500 different types of bike. And you go, holy heck, what bike am I going to get? There's too many to choose from. You walk into a bike shop and there's 20 different types. And you say, it's much easier to choose. It's also a lot cheaper for that bicycle store owner to only have 20 different models rather than having 500 different models. You see my point? He says, already with our MEB platform, 70% of the car value is shared between Audi, Skoda, Cupra, and Volkswagen. And one of the things that he said in this chat was really interesting. He said that the €20,000 Volkswagen ID1 or ID2 electric car is coming at some point. What the world needs right now is a low-cost EV. Diess has confirmed Volkswagen is working on something like the ID Life concept, which was shown last year. The question was, when will we see an EV that has a 300-mile range for under $25,000? Diess said price is a challenge. We are working on electric cars around €20,000 for entry segments. So they are coming. You know why they're coming? Because Diess has said that Volkswagen's biggest competitors are not Toyota, are not Honda, are not Mercedes, not BMW, not Ford, China, and Tesla. And China and Tesla are eventually, both of them, going to have $25,000 EVs for sale in Europe and in pretty much all of Volkswagen's markets. So Diess has admitted that is their biggest competition. Clearly, that's why Volkswagen is building their own battery factories. They're partnering with other battery companies. They're trying to build cars in ways that save them money so they can reduce the cost to compete with their biggest future competitors. Remember when Nokia was Apple's biggest competitor? Does anyone talk about Nokia now? That's what's happening in the car industry. One last thing, Volkswagen and Ford. Well, as you know, Ford said after they invested many billions of dollars into, well, not many, I think it was 750 million. After they invested $750 million into Rivian, everyone thought, well, it makes natural sense that Rivian and Ford would partner on an electric pickup. Amortize the cost. This is what happens all over the industry. However, Ford said, no thanks, Rivian. Because why? They've been working with Volkswagen on an electric pickup, and in fact on the current Ford Ranger and the plug-in hybrid Ford Ranger, which will basically be the vehicle that Volkswagen use as their pickup truck as well. They're just going to rebadge it and call it a Volkswagen, maybe put some different body on it. Essentially, it's going to be a Ford Volkswagen pickup truck. That's coming to market soon. That is what will happen for Ford and Volkswagen. And that is why I'm talking about Europe here, by the way. I'm talking about countries outside the United States. Volkswagen may even also use the F-150 Lightning electric pickup truck platform, potentially. But I believe that's not likely. I believe the most likely scenario is that the future, the version 2 that's coming in 2024 or 2025 of the F-150, that will be the shared platform used between Volkswagen and Ford. And that is what they're working on right now. Diess played innocent when the idea of a Volkswagen pickup for the USA was talked about. The question was, hello Herbert, we like the Volkswagen designs a lot. My question is, will there be an electric pickup truck like the Ford F-150 Lightning for the USA? And Herbert said, good idea. Well, I can tell you right now, clearly that is in development. Clearly, the fact that Ford and Volkswagen already have a partnership on making mid-size pickups leads to the fact that they'll also partner on making a full-size pickup and partner on an electric pickup, more importantly. Why? Because Ford has more expertise, much more expertise with pickup trucks than Volkswagen does. And Volkswagen is very aware of that fact. It's also very aware of the fact that it needs to compete on price. If you amortize the cost with another company, you can do that. I basically predict the next pickup truck that's electric coming from Volkswagen will be a shared platform with Ford. Personally, I think this was a great marketing opportunity for Herbert Diess. It's hard not to like when a CEO brings himself down to that kind of down-to-earth level. It's sort of like, imagine if Michael Jordan said, and you love basketball, said, hey, let's have a chat online. I'll answer some questions. I find this to be a really appealing tactic, and it makes people kind of feel more down to earth, more relatable. So I think great move, Herbert Diess. And I think Herbert Diess has a lot, viewing from the views on some of the videos I've made for about Herbert Diess, you can see a lot of people like the guy. Now here is what the Electric said about Herbert Diess and full self-driving. As for self-driving, Diess has a steep learning curve, but seems to have a realistic expectation of what Volkswagen can accomplish. The CEO continues to impress us with his clear vision of the EV autonomous future. In the short term, however, he needs to get those ID4 updates. Now, I've heard reports that Diess and the Mobileye CEO have a very close working relationship. Now, the interesting thing is that Tesla has never used Lidar for full self-driving. They did have radar, but they got rid of that. and now they are vision only. And it's a very, very different strategy to try to achieve the same result. Clearly, there's a difference of opinion between the two of them. I want you to tell me in the comment section below, who's right, who's wrong? Herbert Diess or Elon Musk? Who's going to get there first? Time will tell who is right, of course, and potentially both strategies could work. It's possible. Now, why do I say a strategy of not using Lidar could work? Well, realistically, when you drive, do you use a Lidar or do you use your eyes? Well, when people drive, they use vision only. That's with only one camera. Imagine having lots of cameras around your entire head. I can see where Tesla's coming from, but I can also see where Volkswagen and the rest of the industry is coming from. Who knows which one will work? Personally, I'm gunning for them both. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on the next video. Bye-bye.